following yesterday's vote by Parliament to join the U.S.-led coalition. Prime Minister David Cameron made an emotional appeal to lawmakers who debated for 6 hours before voting.
This is not 2003, but we must not use past mistakes as an excuse for indifference or inaction. We will play our part in destroying these evil extremists. We will support our Muslim friends around the world as they reclaim their religion. And once again, our inspirational armed forces will put themselves in harm's way to keep our people and our country safe. I pay tribute to their extraordinary bravery and service, and I commend this motion to the House.
In the meantime, back in the U.S., members of Congress are in recess, back in their home districts, campaigning for re-election. Joining me now are political commentator, Republican strategist Kevin Madden, and Democratic strategist Robert Zimmerman. Robert, did the British Parliament handle this the right way with a public debate and a vote?
Absolutely they did. And it's an important wake-up call for many members of Congress. In fairness, let's also remember that, unlike Saddam Hussein, who clearly was an evil sociopath but not a threat to our nation, and much of the material that was brought up by the Bush administration was made up or false, we know for a fact that ISIS, the Khorasan, and also al-Nusra clearly represent a direct threat on our country. So it's clearly appropriate for the president, and a great potential threat, I should say. So it's clearly appropriate for President Obama to take action in the short term. But without question, Congress does have an obligation to engage in a very thorough debate, very aggressive hearings on this topic, and to take action. And that's clearly what has to be done. Go figure, Joe. Who would ever believe that one time they reach bipartisan consensus in our Congress is to head for the doors in a time of crisis?
Kevin Madden, John Boehner, the House Speaker, the Republican House Speaker, said this week that, quote, doing this with a whole group of members who are on their way out the door, I don't think that's the right way to handle this. So, Kevin, Congress authorized use of force in Iraq a month before the 2002 midterms. Why is this different? Isn't Congress just sort of punting so members don't have to take a position before the election occurs?
Well, I think what John Boehner is trying to do is explain the currents up on Capitol Hill rather than justify them. I think the big difference here is that there does seem to be a little bit of a lack of clarity from exactly it is what the president would want the Congress to vote on. If you remember, the president has already made the case now that what he has is an AUMF, an authorized use for military force, from 2002 that he can use in order to take these strikes. And he hasn't asked for Congress to offer him a new one. So unless he does go up there and say to Congress or say to John Boehner and to the members of the Senate that I need a new level of authorized force in order to take action against Syria, I don't see where there would be sort of new congressional action outside of that request.